ESPN.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, Monday night, June 8th, 2009. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, here coming to you live from the 540 ESPN studios in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as we watch WWE Raw go off the air with the return of Triple H, Meathead.
Yep, Meathead was in the lobby about an hour ago, said, you know what, this show is turning out so whack. I'll tell you what, it's probably time for Triple H to show up.
Well, in addition to Raw discussion that we'll get into in just a few minutes, we've got a full review of WWE Extreme Rules on pay-per-view from this past Sunday. We've got our supplemental draft, the news desk, Beat the Meat, VI3, and a special guest scheduled to appear in just a few minutes, Kamala, the Ugandan giant.
Where's Frank at?
Well, I wish we knew where Frank was, but let's talk about the breaking news earlier today that you found at PWRshow.com, WWE announcing the release of Umaga.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's all his fault.
Umaga, suffering from the ill effects of a violation of the WWE wellness policy for the second time and has been subsequently released. Now, Meathead, last week, the topic of conversation on this very program was the release of Ken Anderson from WWE, which was a bit of a surprise. Not the reasons haven't really come to light, at least publicly, for that release as of this point, but we can confirm that Umaga was released due to his second wellness policy violation. Now, this is surprising because just last night at Extreme Rules, Umaga prominently featured.
Yeah, you know, Umaga also was in a program with the current World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk.
Had that Samoan strap match, and as Meathead just alluded to, new champions all around the board, basically, last night at WWE Extreme Rules. We know that you guys have a lot to say out there in the world that are listening, whether it be at PWRshow.com, ESPNMilwaukee.com, or in southeastern Wisconsin on 540 ESPN, the number by which you can call us live in the studio Monday night, June 8th, 276-ESPN, again, 276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-ESPN. Meathead also at PWRshow.com, the Chatmosphere, full of people right now talking about Tripp's return.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm afraid, because I've seen it mentioned in the Chatosphere, Triple H better not be the new Raw general manager.
Vicky Guerrero resigning her position earlier this evening. I would venture to say that that's going to not stick, and especially after what we saw with Edge and all that after she actually quit. But
you know what she needs to quit doing is coming out without sleeves. But that's just me.
What is the other reaction right now to Triple H's return?
The thing is that when Triple H returned, I saw a lot of talk about here comes the Triple H squash hour. Basically, everybody's going to bow down to the King of Kings. He's going to no-sell everything. Triple H is going to get in 100% of the offense.
But here's the question. After what we saw thus far tonight on Raw, they haven't answered the WWE title situation. Batista taken out due to an injury by Randy Orton in Legacy. He was supposed to be in this main event match with Randy Orton to defend the WWE Championship.
And he was supposed to win the belt by disqualification forfeit if Batista did not answer the 10 count.
So in theory, the WWE Champion right now is Randy Orton.
No. It went to 9, and then the ref waved it off.
But who's going to make the decision? We don't have a general manager. There's chaos on WWE Raw.
Oh, the anguish. No,
the belt is Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. When we come back, the Ugandan giant, Kamala. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com, and PWRshow.com. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead. We're live with you Monday night, June 8th, 2009, and we are honored to have the legendary Kamala with us live on the air. Kamala, welcome to the Pro Wrestling Report.
Well, thank you very much.
Kamala, let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things you're involved with, specifically coming up this Friday night, Great Lakes Championship Wrestling at the Italian Community Center in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But before we get to that, the thing I'm very intrigued about, Kamala, is your music. I understand you've been involved with writing music and involved in some productions over the last few years.
Yeah, for the last past probably about 6 years, I've been writing songs and singing. I've just been writing song lyrics and recording them in my home studio. It's not the best though, but
well, it's not. You're not singing in Ugandan, so I mean we can understand at least, right?
No, I've learned to speak English, and when I learned to speak English, then I learned to sing it.
Oh.
Kamala, obviously, many facets of your not only your character, but you as a person, and all the fans out there, of course, remember Kamala the Ugandan Giant, whether it be the days in WWF or WWE or even in WCW. But you have seen so much in the wrestling business. And as we have these few minutes to spend with you tonight, let's talk about, if you had to sum up the most impactful thing that you have encountered while you were in the business, the thing that has just not weighed on you, but the thing that has had the most significance on your career, what would you say it would be?
I would say getting a chance to wrestle the champion in Madison Square Garden, the Meadowlands, and some of the big places like that, and my big match with The Undertaker, like in London, England, and SummerSlam 92.
SummerSlam 92, I understand you've been very vocal about specifically the payoffs for that event.
Well, the payoff was terrible, but, I don't hold it against the fans. I don't hold it against my opponent. I hold that against the promoters, but, there's really no need to do that because it don't do any good.
Yeah. Now, the business right now, Kamala, do you still watch wrestling programming on a regular basis?
Oh, no, I don't watch wrestling. I don't watch wrestling at all unless I'm flipping through the channels and I see The Undertaker. See, I'm a lot older than The Undertaker. I've been in the business a lot longer than he has, but I'm a big fan of The Undertaker. That's the only way I would watch it. So, I don't watch it.
Why not?
I just don't interest me none. It's just like watching myself work.
All right, so you really have no take on the new talents that might be out there today, obviously not watching the programs, but you've heard about, obviously, the big battle going on right now, at least the battle a lot of people want to make, which is that between World Wrestling Entertainment and Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, TNA Wrestling. Have you had a chance to see any of the product from TNA since they've been around?
Very
Aside
little.
from participating in it. I believe you participated in an event for them.
Yeah, once. I think that was last year.
Slammiversary, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was last year. And that was it. I hadn't watched it or nothing. I didn't even watch myself on it. So
wow.
I can't even remember what I done.
It's almost like you've detached yourself from the business, Kamala.
You were actually at, I believe it was Jay Lethal and SoCal Val's wedding. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry
now
about
I
that.
remember.
that was unique.
Yeah, but I just don't have interest in it no more. Especially watching it on TV. But when I do shows, then I really get back into it.
We have a live chat going on at our website, pwrshow.com. User by the name of Twisted Katana said, I was at Slammiversary in Memphis. Kamala was funny and larger than life. And user by the name of Done Nameless One says, Kamala should go into the Hall of Fame. Ooh.
Yeah, well, I think so. It's not up to me. So anyway, I've seen a lot of guys go on ahead of me that I think I should have been ahead of. But I guess everybody feel that way, so I don't have no hard feeling about it.
In your opinion, Kamala, should you have gone in before Coco Beware?
Yeah, excuse me?
Should you have been inducted into the Hall of Fame before Coco Beware?
Do I think I should have?
Yes.
Sure, yeah, I do.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Kamala, so many great memories. Kimchi, the time that you spent with him and the pinfalls, pinning people while they were laying on their stomach. I mean, there's so many great memories of the Ugandan Giant Kamala. What occupies your time nowadays?
I'm a truck driver. I drive truck now, and that's what I was doing 39 years ago before I got into wrestling. Including a little bit of the time between WWF and WCW. It looks like you went back to that for a couple of years. Yeah, I did that, and made a few appearances, but, it really wasn't worth my time, so I just left it alone.
Okay.
Well, this Friday night, Kamala, you are going to be here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What when you think of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as far as the times you've been here, which has been many times, I'm sure, what do you think about when you think about Milwaukee?
Well, the first thing, at least I don't drink anymore, but I think about the old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee, yes,
yeah,
indeed.
And, I can't think of the name of the restaurants, but I go to a lot of good restaurants there to eat, and I have some family there somewhere.
You know, Kamala,
Cousins, huh?
Kamala, it's kind of funny you mentioned the family, because in our chatosphere we have, many different people that listen. There is a man that's floating around in Memphis by the name of, Curryhead, and he says that you are his uncle.
What's his name?
He just uses a Curryhead. It's a joke. He jokes around and says, "But my uncle's Kamala. I have him come on the show
next week." He calls
the
show regularly, yeah.
Oh, no, I hadn't heard that.
You're going to have to check all your family kin and ask them if they've been calling into wrestling shows.
Well, this Friday you make your return to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. You actually have a match with Rock and Roll Buck Zumoff.
Yeah, somebody I hadn't seen in years. Now, I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's like a 6-man.
No, actually, you're just a one-on-one right now. You're in a Legends match. Kamala Ugandan Giant against Rock and Roll Buck Zumoff. The main is going to be apparently Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty versus Kip James and Armando Estrada. So, I mean, a lot of big names at the card.
Big names in that card. You, obviously, the legendary name on that card in a Legends match. That's going to be at the Italian Community Center this Friday night. Tickets are available at blizzardbrawl.com. Again, that's blizzardbrawl.com. Kamala, we thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time here in the late night on the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN. Do you have any parting comments for our listeners all over the world?
Just come out to see me. I'll be there selling my CDs. I'll be selling my autograph photos. And for all of my fans all over the world, I want to thank you for supporting me, all you who have cheered me and those who have booed me. I want to thank you for supporting me for almost 3 decades.
Well, Kamala, thank you
Fantastic.
so much for your time. Also, fans, if you buy those front row tickets, you get an exclusive meet and greet with not only Kamala, but Al Snow, Val Venus, and Buck Zumoff, in addition to several other names. What a great deal for that show. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling this Friday night, June 12th, at the Italian Community Center, blizzardbrawl.com, for all the latest information. Meathead Kamala. Put that on top of King Kong Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
So many legends and legendary names have been on this program just in the last few months.
Where was Frank Cosentino? He's been talking about, I want to talk to Kamala. I want to talk to Kamala. He wants to get pinned upside down by Kamala. And Frank no-shows the show again.
Well, that's Frank's fault.
Yeah.
He's traveling. Sinatra wrote a song about Frank.
Like to hear it.
It's called Mr. Success. Maybe we'll pull out a break with that. Any chance we have to play Sinatra?
No.
We've got breaking news, more breaking news. This Meathead, we're like the CNN of wrestling.
I don't know if I should be insulted or...
Well, if I said Fox News, you should be insulted.
Anywho,
I watch
Shivani.
Fox News.
Let's go, Shivani.
So does Joey Styles. Vicky Guerrero has actually indeed given her notice to WWE, folks. She quit tonight on Raw. Well, we're finding out now that she has indeed decided she wants to spend more time with her children. And Meathead, the point you were making before we even got this news was Vicky has been on TV nonstop for years.
We're talking at least 2 to 3 years. Vicky has been on TV since are you British now all of a sudden?
British.
Since she came on to TV as Teddy Long's assistant. She even popped up while Eddie was still champ. So she's been going nonstop, and, maybe it's time for Vicky to take a break. Maybe her arms are fat because of the stress.
Given this news, I would still expect, or I wouldn't expect, rather, this to be an Adam Lee-like departure where you come out and quit and then you're never seen again. I mean, this could be just time off at this time. We don't know, but we do know that Vicky has indeed taken advantage of an opportunity to spend more time at home with her daughters, and she has indeed given some form of notice to World Wrestling Entertainment, which is, I think, a blow to WWE because Vicky Guerrero has some of the most heat in the company.
Yeah, not only does she has the most heat, she has the most cellulite on the arms, and I just got more and more and
more. She
was
wearing some nice hooker pumps tonight, though.
Yeah, but I'm not going to...
Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island?
I tell you what, I can throw all the baby powder on my hand that I want to. She still ain't going to get that money.
Our producer, Dragon, was he's got the hots for Vicky.
Yeah, he said he likes the girls with the red hair.
Well, it's dyed, so it's not natural, so
It doesn't
have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
It doesn't matter.
More breaking news on top of Umaga being released earlier today by WWE. Well, Meathead, this past Sunday on pay-per-view, it was WWE's Extreme Rules. CM Punk is the new World Heavyweight Champion after Jeff Hardy was the new World Heavyweight Champion. Batista, the new WWE Champion, we think, and Chris Jericho, the new Intercontinental Champion, and Santina Marella, the new Miss WrestleMania.
Currently, there is not a WWE champion. If you paid attention to the product, you would find out that
I was doing show prep.
Yeah, the winner of the match, if Batista didn't answer the 10 count, which was stopped at 9, if Batista didn't answer the 10 count, then Orton would win the belt by forfeit. But Orton's not the champ. Batista is. So technically, if Batista didn't answer a 10 count, but Orton didn't get the belt.
And people say TNA is complicated.
I think the belt is hung up.
Like Madonna sung about it?
Like they hear it.
Let's talk about the pay-per-view in more details. Remember, you can join us, folks, at the phone number 276-ESPN. Again, 276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-ESPN. We'll give Meathead an opportunity to go over to the PWR forum at pwrshow.com and check out what you guys had to say live during Extreme Rules. But a couple of notes. We value each pay-per-view. We say, was it worth the amount of money? WWE obviously charging $40 for this event.
$45 in high def.
This reporter this month feels it indeed was worth $40 that I spent on the pay-per-view. The overall production and presentation shows why WWE is at the top of the game right now. Obviously, they have the resources to pull it off, but just a spectacular look to the show. And Chris Jericho, just excellent on the mic. And I quote, "Don't touch me."
On the mic, currently, remember, Chris Jericho, on the mic in WCW, you said you could do without.
Can I just start calling you Ralphus?
No.
Can you be my Ralphus?
No, absolutely not. Why would the one that's over you be the one that's supposed to be under you?
They had, over the course of the pay-per-view, a good build to the main events, with showing, Big Show doing a promo, Orton doing a promo. TNA should really take note. They do it, but they don't do it as well as WWE did last night. And is it possible that the new ECW champion, Tommy Dreamer, is it possible that Tommy Dreamer can revive ECW? What I mean by that is this. ECW has seen a decline in its business, its measurable business. There were ECW chants for the first time in a very long time last night at Extreme Rules during that ECW championship matchup. Tommy Dreamer, the innovator of violence, one of the ECW originals. Can they put the company, or the brand rather, ECW, on the back of this man and make it extreme again?
No, because WWE doesn't want to make it extreme. Why would you make it extreme? They've bland down the brands to the point where, they all look the same. The pay-per-views, with the exception of the tiny little gimmicks all around them, all look the same. Raw, SmackDown, Superstars, ECW, pay-per-views all look the same. You don't even have sets like, do you remember Over the Edge here in Milwaukee?
I remember it.
What was the set? What
did
it look
the
like?
Vehicles and the
vehicles.
Construction type.
What does Armageddon look like on occasion?
It's like a war zone.
A war zone, okay. What does Backlash look like with the swing and
hook?
Well,
the pay-per-views are all multi-branded.
What I'm saying is they all look the same now. There's no distinction with exception, the fonts and the name on the pay-per-views. They all look the same. WrestleMania on occasion will look a little different because remember they're in a stadium for WrestleMania.
Well, that's why you take advantage of this opportunity. Here's what I pitch. Here's what I propose. WWE has gone PG, parental guidance suggested. Oh, yeah. Their product has been watered down as a result. That doesn't mean all of their shows need to be PG. ECW's on later again. Make ECW, TV-14, whatever, and make that you can keep it different.
Happen.
I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm saying here's what might be smart for them to do. Make ECW distinctly different from the other two brands because they can do it with that. And keep it different, keep it special. Use Tommy Dreamer as the stepping stone to making ECW extreme again. Because the E still means extreme.
Right, but the X in XFL never meant extreme either.
Well, the X didn't, but the E does in ECW. Let's go to the PWR phone lines. The number you can call if you want to participate is 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. And that's 1-800-990-ESPN. And let's go now to Josh from Milwaukee on line 1. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hello.
Hey, Josh, what's going on? You sound like a first-time caller.
Yep, first-time caller.
Do you have any thoughts on Extreme Rules from this past Sunday on pay-per-view, Josh?
I thought it should have had blood in the matches.
Great point. When you call a pay-per-view Extreme Rules, when you have the most extreme pay-per-view in WWE's annual pay-per-view offerings, you would think you would see the crimson mask on somebody, as Gorilla Monsoon
Yeah.
said. Well, CM Punk.
And then I like Triple H tonight.
So you like having him back? Some don't,
Yeah.
but, I mean, you're a guy that does, and that's okay. Now, we talked about this earlier as well. Example, a match between Jericho and Ray. If it was no holds barred, what holds did they use that can't be used in any other match?
Like, they should have had the match where they should have had it, like, out in the streets, you know.
I mean, the way Jericho won the Cruiserweight title.
Or on the banks of the Mississippi River from the Pyramid Arena in Memphis, Tennessee, like they did with
Road
Alex
Dogg.
Snow
and Road Dogg.
and Hardcore Holly, I believe it was.
It might have been Road Dogg or Hardcore for the Hardcore Championship.
Well,
yeah.
Well, Josh, thanks for calling in. Let's continue on the phone lines. Let's go to line 2. We've got Robert from New York City, where they make that Pace Picante sauce.
New York City.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Robert?
All right, first-time caller here. I actually listen to your podcast a lot when I'm on the road.
Those podcasts you can get on iTunes. All you need to do is click on the link at pwrshow.com, the subscribe link, and become a subscriber and get the Pro Wrestling Report as soon as it's available on iTunes. Thank you for the opportunity for the plug, Robert.
Yeah. Real quick, on the pay-per-view, I actually got a chance to check it out today. 3 matches per se were really, really good. Fatal 4 for the U.S. Championship, that was a really good match. I feel like everyone stepped it up. Kofi Kingston definitely stepped it up on that one.
I think that if you had to name 2 standouts in that match, who do you think they were?
2 standouts in that Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah.
Kofi Kingston was definitely number 1, and I would say number 2. I'm a William Regal fan, so definitely William Regal.
I agree with you.
Was just brutal.
I absolutely agree. William Regal really stepped up in that matchup, and a lot of people, that's the shame of it. A lot of people don't realize just how good Regal is.
Yeah.
Meathead did, if you would have been paying attention to the PWR 2009 fantasy draft.
That one, I have to say, Meathead, I'm going to be having fun just watching you dominate for another year in a row.
I know. I apologize to Damian every year, and, I mean, dude, I've done what I can to make it fair. I stopped preparing. I stopped bringing notes. I goof up picks. I picked Batista on purpose.
The supplemental draft is tonight, and wait till you see what I got up my sleeve. But, Robert, the other 2 matches from Extreme Rules that you thought were good.
Well, Extreme Rules, for starters, pay-per-view wasn't really Extreme Rules to me, besides the main event, which by far was one of the best ladder matches I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
really,
that would be
really
between
good.
Edge and Jeff Hardy with a very innovative and unique finish to that matchup. Very dramatic. And I'm not even talking about the cashing in of the Money in the Bank. I'm talking about the way Jeff Hardy put Edge in a precarious position and then
made him watch.
Had him watch as he went up and claimed the World Heavyweight Championship.
It was very innovative, per se. It wasn't predictable like a lot of some of the matches were, like same thing, CM Punk, Umaga. To me, that was really predictable. Mm-hmm. I'm not taking anything away from the wrestlers. They still put on a great performance, but it just felt very predictable for some of the matches. But just the Fatal 4-Way, the ladder match, and there was one more match in particular that was really, really good. It's slipping my mind right now.
Jericho Ray, probably.
Yes. Fantastic
match. It was an excellent match with another great finish.
Yes,
brilliantly executed.
Jericho has really just completely embodied that persona, and he's one of the best heels right now in the WWE, in my opinion.
No doubt about it, Robert. Robert, thank you so much for calling in. Reference Extreme Rules with that call from New York City. Meat had 3. I think that's pretty much a consensus. Those 3 matches extremely solid on this pay-per-view. The surprising one of that group would have been the Fatal 4-Way, I would say.
Yeah, because it wasn't announced. You didn't know it was going to happen. But, again, with a no-holds-barred match, you weren't really looking forward to seeing a no-holds-barred match between Ray and Jericho because what are they going to do that's so extreme at the Extreme pay-per-view, Extreme Rules? But you know what? Jericho is the top heel right now, in my opinion. Now, granted he's the IC champion, but I think he's going to bring the value back to that belt. Remember, he is a 9-time. It is his 9th championship reign as IC champion.
Let's continue on the phone lines. Remember, you can join us, folks. The lines are clearing up now, so I know some of you have been trying and been getting a busy signal. Well, a lot of people calling in tonight. The number you can call, though, is 276-ESPN. Again, that's 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN, toll-free, 1-800-990-ESPN. The chat continues as well at the Chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. Just click on the Join Us in the Chatmosphere link at PWRshow.com. and be a part of the discussion. Let's
Damien,
go now.
I'm going to go to the Chatosphere real quick.
Go right ahead.
Real quick. Farley in the Chatosphere. Maybe as a consolation prize for Damien losing again in a draft, he should get to see the Backstreet Boys. Are you a mark for them?
Let's go to line 3. Daniel from the great state of Texas. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, guys. This is my first time calling in.
What's up, Daniel? Well, thank you.
No, hold on. I wanted to get your thoughts not only on the CM Punk cashing in, but whether or not you think, because the way Raw ended, there was no real champion deemed. Do you think it's going to be like a Shawn Michaels type thing where Batista comes in and just, hands the belt over to whoever the new GM is going to be?
Well, that's a great question, Daniel. We haven't seen that in a long time since Eric Bischoff granted Triple H the championship a couple of years ago.
That's how the heavyweight championship got brought into WWE.
Mm-hmm. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm confused as to what happens in my mind based off of what didn't happen. It would seem as if Randy Orton's the champion, but as Meathead points out, this is a good opportunity to hang up the belt. WWE's been in
the count. The ref didn't finish the count.
Right, it went to 9.
Yeah.
So technically, does that make either Batista still the champ, or does it hang up the belt?
Like to me, it would seem like Batista didn't lose. I mean, they didn't make an announcement. Just Triple H came out, which was cool, by the way. And beat the hell out of Randy Orton. So,
well, the problem WWE has had over the last few months is they've had no more than 3 weeks to build every pay-per-view since Backlash, I believe. So they've been on express service, and I think this is a good way going into the Bash. Maybe there's a tournament, maybe there's number one contenders who battle for the title. Don't know, but the fact of the matter is, if you don't know, Batista is indeed actually injured. Not a torn bicep that has been reported across the Internet wrestling community, but indeed a torn tendon in one of his bicep muscles. So no surgery is required, we don't think, at this time, but he indeed is going to need to take some time off so that injury doesn't get worse. For those of you that don't remember, Batista had previously suffered from a bicep tear and certainly would have to spend a good amount of time out if he were to get injured again in that form. But, Daniel, your thoughts on Extreme Rules last night. You talked about CM Punk and looking for our feedback on CM Punk winning and cashing in that Money in the Bank opportunity. I got to tell you, I didn't think it was going to happen. I am happy that it did, but I don't think the fans bought into it as much as they did Jeff Hardy's win.
Wow. Well, I don't know. I thought I was chatting earlier in the Chatmosphere. And well, it says Chatmosphere on the link. So.
That's because I don't get a chance to work on the website. But okay, Daniel.
You barely get a chance to show up.
But, they had this, one of the greatest, somebody else already said, but one of the greatest ladder matches in years.
It's an excellent match.
And then at the end of the match, when, all these people are cheering and the emotion's real high, you just get wham, you get a sucker punch with CM and Punk coming out. And it was beautiful. I mean, I've been hating on WWE for a while, and this pay-per-view and especially tonight's Raw, they really got me interested again.
Yeah, and it was great too because the announcers, even though Grisham and Ross did not sound good last night at all, the announcers sold it. Good night, everybody. And there comes CM Punk's music. It was sold.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and here's how smart WWE is. They really are good at paying attention to the details because they had to clear the ring of the ladders. And in order to make sense as to why they were clearing the ring of the ladders so CM Punk could come out and do the match, they put JR in the ring to do a post-match interview. And never had any intentions on doing that interview, but JR was only in the ring so that there was some explanation as to why they were removing the ladders. Otherwise, it would have made no sense. It would have been obvious they were preparing for Punk to come out. So, again, they paid so much attention to the details, and that's what makes them number one right now.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Do you think CM's going to go heel, or do you think there's no need to?
You know what? When Jeff kicked out of that first GTS, he had a heel reaction, did CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We haven't seen CM Punk as a heel in WWE. He obviously was a very good heel in Ring of Honor.
We saw him around here as a heel, actually, as well, here in the Milwaukee area.
So he's got it in him. He may be forced into a heel role if he works a program with Jeff, however much longer Jeff is going to be around in WWE. But
I think it could be easily done, especially when Jeff's got the history of these wellness issues, and CM's this straight-edge, clean guy, and he could cut a huge promo on how the fans adore a drug user and how he's tried to go out and give a good message, but the fans don't want that. I think he could totally be a great heel.
Oh, good point, Daniel, but didn't Edge do that already?
Well, yeah, but you don't expect it from CM Punk. You expect it from Edge.
Yeah. We haven't had a good heel turn in about a minute.
Yeah, at least not in WWE.
Not a strong heel turn. They've all been really weak.
Yeah.
Was the last good one really when Austin turned on WWE at Invasion 2001?
No, that one was terrible. That was not good at all.
Oh, that was great. I watch it every month now.
No.
I pop it in.
No.
That was a great heel turn. Nobody expected it.
You should put that on the site. You should put that
Done.
as a favorite.
We're going to do that tonight. Very good, Daniel. Very good suggestion. We're going to do that tonight so the IWC can prove.
Speaking to the microphone, Nelson.
Listen, you ever watch a good singer, of which I am? When you hit a high note, you pull away from the microphone a little.
No.
It's art. It's art.
No.
Daniel from Texas, thank you so much for calling in. Guys, we're going to take a time out at this time. And when we come back, we've got Hakeem from Arizona, Sam from Dallas, and you can join us as well. Lines are free, 414-276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
The D-List, Homer and the Game. 9 straight hours of all Milwaukee and all live on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
You know you're going to miss her.
No, I'm not.
You are going to miss her. You talk about her flabby arms here in the studio, but all the world knows when you go home, that flab is what you're thinking about for sure.
Oh, no.
Let's continue here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, live Monday, June 8th, 2009. Talking about WWE Extreme Rules. You can join us on the phone lines at number 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. Also live in the Champmosphere at PWRshow.com. Special thanks to Daniel from Texas who called in a minute ago. Suggested we have that video, Steve Austin's heel turn at Invasion 2001. Guess what? It's live on the site right now. PWRshow.com. Let's go down to line 1. Hakeem, the African Dream from Arizona. I think we did that before, and Hakeem didn't like it so much. Hakeem, sorry, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, what's up? That's all right.
That's all right. He's a mark for himself.
No, listen, I purchased the best of our Saturday Night's Main Event, whatever DVD it was, expecting a story about Saturday Night's Main Event, not a clip show. But one of the matches was the Twin Towers versus the Mega Powers here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1989.
What a great match.
When the Mega Powers exploded. And that's why Hakeem was top of mind at that point. Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, what's up? How you guys doing?
We're living large and in charge, living a dream. What do you got?
I'll talk about we'll talk about Extreme Rules. I like the Jericho Ray match and the finish, considering I'm a big Punk mark.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed the pay-per-view.
Really? So the question that Damien's been asking everyone, was it worth your $40?
I don't pay for pay-per-views.
But if you had to put a dollar value to it, what would it be?
$25.
Okay, so 5 years ago when they were still $29.99, or 10 years ago whenever they were $29.99, you would have paid for it.
Would I paid for it?
Yeah.
No, I still wouldn't have paid for it.
Okay, so are you going to friends' houses? We want to know. What are you doing? What are you doing?
You've gone too far with that.
Sit into the mic.
I got some problems.
Okay. Hakeem, what else you got?
With the whole Triple H thing coming back, is it me or do they never really have a payoff to anything?
Well, technically,
the only person getting the payoff is Triple H.
Technically, the big payoff on the wedding angle finally came tonight that we thought we were never getting a payoff for. It just out of nowhere popped up. I want a divorce. As Damien's yelling in the studio, a la Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like to me, every rivalry that I have it's a to be continued until it's like a year after it should have ended. But I don't know. That's just what it seems like to me.
Your thoughts on CM Punk being the new World Heavyweight Champion?
I'm a Punk mark. Of course I'm happy about that.
All right. Well, Hakeem from Arizona. Whereabouts in Arizona are you?
Where in Arizona?
Yeah.
Phoenix area.
Phoenix.
Also Glendale next year.
Side of WrestleMania 26. I am very pleased to be returning to Arizona for that show at the end of March. Hakeem, thank you so much for calling. Let's now, Meathead, do we have any comments from the message board, the forum at PWRshow.com?
We do. I have to go over to that section, but I do have it queued up.
I have 10 minutes.
I have it queued up. I'm
10
ready.
minutes ago. God bless it.
I had to go to
Ladies
the
and
other
gentlemen,
tab.
keep in mind, we are looking for broadcast journalists. If you can simply prepare before showing up or follow direction, you qualify.
Big B Brown from the forum. Time to give my thoughts on Extreme Rules. Now, I didn't watch all the pay-per-view. Edit needs to watch all the pay-per-view, so it's now filled with edits. I'm glad Kofi retained and missed all of this match, so I can't edit. I thought it was a really good opener. I apparently didn't read the whole thing.
Oh, shocking.
The IC title match was pretty damn good to me. I like this one a lot. Mask versus title, maybe at the Bash to get the mask back.
You know, let's talk about the
back.
Bash for a minute. They changed the name from the Great American Bash to the Bash. Great American Bash, the Bashes, if you will. Remember, back in the day, it was a series of events that culminated with a pay-per-view from NWA or WCW. Now it's just the Bash. Why do they have to crap on everything they didn't create? Halloween Havoc should have been brought back shortly after they purchased
That's the one
WCW.
they should have got. War Games?
Starrcade should still be around if it's
War
supposed
Games?
to be the event that created WrestleMania,
War
which
Games?
is what they said on the Starrcade DVD.
War Games?
The match that shouldn't be beyond.
No. You're thinking about the Battle Royal with 3 rings. I'm talking about War Games.
That was 2 rings, right?
Yeah.
With the cage?
Yeah.
Anytime there's more than 1 ring, there's too many. Sam from Dallas, line 2, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all
Hey,
doing?
what's up, Sam?
Yeah, I kind of want to speak on Extreme Rules, a.k.a. Judgment Day Part 2.
Okay, 2.0, yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one thing I don't like about the WWE. They put on a pay-per-view where you say, I mean, they're doing this match, we've seen it. They're doing this match, and I've seen it. And then the next day you're thinking, why didn't I order the pay-per-view?
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Sam. It's a great point. Now, keep in mind, I was one of the people saying this was Judgment Day 2.0, Judgment Day Remix. At the end of the day, it really didn't end up being that way, so I was a little wrong in my assessment of the pay-per-view. It just so happened that the first few matches they announced were all rematches from Judgment Day, but this was clearly a very different pay-per-view than Judgment Day.
Right, exactly. I mean, I didn't watch the pay-per-view, but just by seeing the highlights with the Jeff Hardy Edge Rider match, which from all accounts was pretty damn good. Chris Jericho, the best heel in the business right now, Rey Mysterio, and just Kofi Kingston, MVP, Hardy, Regal. I mean, it was just great stuff.
Yeah, overall, the pay-per-view show, like I said, I thought was worth the $40 they charged for it, and that is pretty much the highest rating you can give it as far as a month-to-month basis. But, Sam, thank you so much for your call. Let's go on to a regular caller, line 3, Steve from Heartland, Wisconsin. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Steve. How's it out there in Heartland?
Oh, it's good. Bessie says hi.
Anyway, Steve, what's
I
up?
should say Vicky, right? Oh, no, that's
the cow's name probably was Vicky. That's probably where we
Wait a minute. Come on now. She's not even here to defend herself.
Quick thing about Extreme Rules. I was actually pretty impressed. I was kind of going into it thinking, I'm going to spend my money like I did on Judgment Day, and it's going to suck. But I was really pleasantly surprised, other than the ending with the Hardy match with Punk. I understand why they did it, the uncertainty with Jeff, but it almost kind of ruined the match a little bit for me. I mean, it was still absolutely a fantastic 5-star match, but I don't know, it lost a little bit something because he came out. But I actually, last night I was on the Chatosphere, right? Not Chatmosphere.
It's Chatosphere, right.
I was talking actually a guy out in England, One Man Nation, and him and I were talking about Umaga and why would they I just heard this breaking news from you guys about a half hour ago as they released him.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you bring a guy back 2 months ago and then release him right away?
Why do you bring back a guy named Kennedy, on the exact same day?
Yeah.
Well, and here's what's different. This was Umaga's fault, not WWE's.
Right.
They've got their wellness policy out there, and we'll talk a lot more about it on PWR Prime Time this week, but he violated the wellness policy for a second time, which was the reason for his release. So from a fan's perspective, without knowing that information, I could see why, much like the Kennedy situation, this would make no sense. But this one at least had a reason that is more on the talent than the company.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know that. I haven't checked it lately. And one last thing, two quick more things. Regal, think he could be the new GM again or no?
Oh,
I hope so. I hope
please.
so. Turn the lights down.
Redemption.
And also, I thought a good sleeper of the night on Extreme Rules, and maybe you guys would disagree, but I think I like the triple threat with Tommy Dreamer winning it. I think it was the most, the greatest wrestling match ever, but I kind of like Dreamer winning the title and in that fashion. I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, now, did you hear what I said earlier about the direction I think they should go in with ECW?
No, I didn't.
I think that they should use this as the
10:30,
opportunity to take it to the extreme again and make this Tommy Dreamer bringing back, not the old ECW. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about that old ECW. I'm saying make ECW distinctly different from the other brands by making it extreme and making it different. Take the TV rating up, not the rating that people watch, but the rating of from PG to TV.
Content.
Just not extreme all the time. Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah.
We're kind of like last night where, it wasn't like the old, not like ECW where, you get a few chairs in there. And
well, I mean, that was supposed to be, technically, that was the ECW match. That was the ECW
But they didn't say it was Extreme Rules. It was hardcore.
Yeah.
First time they've used that since they launched ECW back in 2006.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Never thought of that. I don't know if they're going to do that with the PG
it's
rating.
Still surprising it came from Damien, but, nonetheless.
All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good night.
Steve, thanks for calling.
Tell
this
Vicky
is
we
the
said
Pro
hi.
Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Still to come, Meathead. We've got the news desk, our supplemental draft in just a few minutes, and also the VI3 Beat the Meat, and also a lot more, including, I know there's 3 minutes left. I can hear when the producer, Tragan, tells me how long the show is. Just follow me, all right? I got callers here I'm going to go take. The next one being Ahmed from New Jersey. You're on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Oh, hey, guys.
Hey, what's up, Ahmed?
Nothing. I had a few questions and a few thoughts.
Okay, and begin.
Okay. I thought Extreme Rules was actually pretty amazing. I know there's a lot of bad reviews online and everything, but I was really, really impressed with it. I mean, I agree with a lot of people who thought the Jeff Hardy match was a little bit cheated with the cashing in, but I mean,
but that's the joy of Money in the Bank, though, isn't it, Ahmed?
Absolutely. I mean, you're not going to expect CM Punk to actually give someone a challenge, a week in advance. It's
Well, I mean, maybe that also means that we get a good series of maybe Punk Hardy matches.
It'd be great to see, assuming, Punk goes heel, which I think everybody's waiting for, I guess. I mean, I'm certainly waiting for it, but I like the pay-per-view a whole lot. My question is this: is Randy Orton champion or not?
It wasn't answered. Again, Randy Orton was going to become champion if Batista did not answer a 10 count. There was never a 10 count. There was a 9 count, and then the referee stopped it. So there's no answer to that.
And I totally get that, and I mean that's what I was left with. But I guess the referee thought that whoever was in the ambulance was going to be Batista. It obviously wasn't.
Well, I think the only way they could have explained what happened at the end of Raw tonight when Triple H arrived, instead of having him arrive in the ambulance, have him arrive in a white Hummer.
Well, it was a black Hummer.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have another question. Who do you guys think will end up being the GM?
Kamala.
That's Kamala, yeah.
I think the Regal play would be great if it were to happen. I mean, really, WWE's not in a good position right now.
That would be his third run as GM.
Yeah, in case you haven't noticed, I mean, look at their announcing situation. Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler on Raw, lame. Todd Grisham and Jim Ross on SmackDown. I mean, JR's as great can be, but, I mean, him and Grisham just aren't meshing. And you broke up the good team of Grisham and Stryker. Josh Matthews is good. I think he can do good. But aside from that, you've got now Kennedy gone. You've got Shawn Michaels taking time off. You've got The Undertaker gone for a while. You've got Batista now injured, however minor it may be. They're not in a good position as WWE right now, Emmett. Let's give some birthday wishes out to a user who's listening to us on our TalkShoe account, Ulysses GDLMX, rather. Happy birthday to you for listening. Thank you for joining us here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Meathead, so much more coming up in our big second hour,
we got
including
a lot
the
of
supplemental draft. The phone calls continue. We've got Cito from New York and Bowman from Boston waiting on the line. When we come back, it's a heck of a lot more from the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live on June 8th, 2009. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, and an absent Kaz.
Absent as usual.
We were talking about that clip that Daniel from Texas suggested earlier and talking about how Jim Ross is just so great. Let's roll it. Oh, no! You got to be kidding. My God. How could you not? Come on, just admit it. JR is great. He is the best play-by-play man in the history of the business. He brings you to the moment. He pulls you out of your chair and into the TV, into the screen, into the arena with the event. That's how great he is.
The booby-loving, nose-picking, barbecue sauce-eating Jim Ross.
That clip can be viewed at PWRshow.com as well. Let's continue on the phone lines as we're talking about WWE Extreme Rules. We've got Cito, I believe is the way you pronounce it, from New York City on line 2.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Welcome
Cito,
to the Pro
right?
Wrestling Report.
Yes, this is he.
Okay, Cito, what you got?
Yeah, I was watching tonight's Raw, and I was looking, watching Edge, and I was just wondering if you guys think he might be going face anytime soon.
Edge, huh?
I don't see why. What's the benefit?
Well, maybe if Hardy isn't going to resign, they might need another face, and if they do decide to do this CM Punk turn heel that everyone is talking about, that maybe they may need another star face on the brand.
Well, it could be. I mean, one would say that much like at Backlash last night at Extreme Rules, they really shook things up, and maybe this is part of that plan. I mean, as I said before we went to that break, WWE's got a lot of problems, a lot of missing talents right now. They've got to continue to build those new talents so they don't continue to end up in these situations with injuries or whatnot. So maybe turning a couple people the other way might be the way to go. I'm not sure if those people are the way to do it. I think Edge is a great heel.
Agreed.
I don't see the fans getting as behind Edge as a face as they will hate him as a heel. And I mean run-of-the-mill wrestling fans. The ones Miz referred to tonight.
Well, I mean, I just want to see the return of the 5-second pose again, so that's just my...
It's been a minute since Edge has been face, and he's never been champion face.
Yeah. What is he, 9 times?
9 times, heel each time.
Yeah. And that's exactly why I think that he may have something to prove there. Doing it face, I think that the best of all time have done it both heel and face. That's just my opinion. One more thing about the belts. You guys think that maybe somewhere down the line they may combine the WWE and World Heavyweight Championship and keep the brands and have it like the tag teams that they do now, where they defend the belts on both brands? And
well, we say tag teams like they have now because can you count the number of tag teams in WWE right now?
Well, that was going to bring me to my next point, where I think that they have way too many individual stars.
Right.
And as a result of that, we can't get behind a specific guy for an amount of time, because if you have 100 guys, each of them getting 2 minutes on a show, you can't really get behind any guy for a long time. And this is why you do need tag teams, and this is why you do need factions, and this way you can kind of keep the guys on TV, but also build individual guys to the point where they can each get valuable TV time instead of just crappy TV time.
Yeah, you make a good point.
And just one last quick note. This team that we saw tonight of Santino and Goldust and
Horny.
Yeah. do these guys remind you of the Odyssey?
Ooh.
The oddities, yeah.
Everybody come to the greatest show.
Well, what they did was they put all the comedy acts all into one match.
Right, and it was like, wait a minute, I can see Santino being the mic man of the team, and it would be kind of interesting.
WWE's done this before, even after the oddities, when they had guys like Snitsky following around, Goldust. It was all the freaks. Remember, we're all just freaks. It's okay. That's when Snitsky was going around licking people's feet.
Yeah, like a Raven plot too, but a lot more.
But cleaner.
Comedic. But much more comedic.
Because, in Raven's flock, Billy Kidman didn't wash.
True. And one thing about Legacy, it's, every good faction has a song. They have team entrants. These guys, they've been around for, gimmick infringement coming about a minute, and they still don't have anything that resembles that. So, until they don't seem like a team. They just seem like they're still just,
thrown together
around Orton. Yeah, they just still seem thrown together. Hopefully this tag team thing will work out.
Well, good music, put together music doesn't always help, because remember, Kane and X-Pac had music that was mixed up together, and they came out to the same thing, and they broke up as a team 2 weeks later.
No, but it actually shows that a unity.
Yeah.
You understand?
Because they got that with Lethal Consequences right now too.
Well, yeah, but that's it. See, that the Lethal Consequences are two individual guys, and they put them together. They split the song.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one song, it's like, oh, well, we know all of them are back. It's like when you heard DX, everybody was coming out. When you heard, oh, you didn't know, the tag teams were coming out. Billy Gunn and the Outlaws were coming out. So, and I didn't get to watch Extreme Rules, which sucks because I did watch the last two pay-per-views and they sucked. And
so you're mad that you put your money on the wrong ones.
No, I did. Right, exactly. And it sucks because I went to WWE.com for the results, and then I went to PWR, and I was like, this sounds like a freaking good pay-per-view, and I missed it. And it's like the caller, the last, I think the second to last caller.
Yeah.
He bought the wrong one, and it's just.
Well, I'm sure it's out there. It's certainly worth watching. Obviously, there's many ways you can access it at this point. It's certainly worth watching just to see, what happens, to see for yourself. And that's a lot of times the challenge is, they got to sell it to you before you buy it, not after you didn't buy it. And they're not doing a good enough job selling it to you before you buy it, because there was no emotional buy-in to many of the matches on the card. So
the rematches, they seem to be all rematches, except gimmicky, and really after a while, and I still can't believe that they made Big Show tap to Cena. God, I forgot who said it last week. At this point, Show should just go away if he's just going to keep jobbing him. That's sad to say, because I know I've seen Show on the mic, and not specifically on the mic, but off camera, he's an entertaining dude.
Yeah. He can be good. He can certainly be good, and has a funny face too. Cito from New York, thank you so much for calling in. We're out of time. We appreciate the call. Again, the number, folks, if you want to call us.
If you can get through,
blowing up, 276-ESPN locally here in southeastern Wisconsin, or 1-800-990-ESPN. Before we go to Bowman from Boston, let's run down the rest of the card to make sure we get that out of the way. The four-way dance with Kofi Kingston versus William Regal versus Matt Hardy and MVP. It was a fatal four-way, very good opener. Kofi Kingston retaining the United States Championship in that matchup. Chris Jericho versus Rey Mysterio, no-holds-barred match for the Intercontinental Championship. Chris Jericho winning decisively in that match, ripping the mask off of Oscar Rey Mysterio in that matchup. CM Punk wins the Samoan strap match against the released Umaga. Tommy Dreamer becomes the new ECW champion over Jack Swagger and the previous champion, Christian, in a hardcore match. Santino beats Vicky. Randy Orton versus Batista. Batista, the new WWE champion in the cage match. Very well done by Orton. All he did during the match was try to get out of the cage. Very, very well done. John Cena versus Big Show. Cena wins after getting the STF on Big Show, using the bottom rope very ingeniously, actually, to get that move on the Big Show. The match, quite frankly, that Big Show was designed to win, I thought. And then the main event, it was CM Punk defeating Jeff Hardy for the World Heavyweight Championship after Jeff Hardy defeated Edge in that amazing ladder match. Let's go now to line 3, Bowman from Boston. You're on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Bowman, what's going on, man? First question I got for you is, now, because obviously you didn't want to watch the pay-per-view, what do you think? I mean, you've seen at least the recap. You've seen some of the videos. What do you think?
It sounds like it was a good pay-per-view, but I'm an old-school fan, and I've learned not to order in your house.
Good call.
Trained to not order
in your house.
You know, it's just this. I've been trained not to order in your house. That's how it is. But overall, it sounded like it was a cool pay-per-view, except for the ending. It seems like it's 2008 all over again.
It is.
It's they're gonna go with this frantic push to CM Punk, and I've been on record saying I'm not the biggest CM Punk fan or a fan of him at all. But I guess they're gonna go with it. I have a feeling it's just gonna end up in the same way. The only reason he's getting the belt now is because this is a downtime for ratings, so they can do whatever they want to do until September.
Okay, but also, I mean, you can look at Punk as a transitional champion too, because who do you think he's holding the belt warm for? Maybe a Jericho run?
Probably Edge. There's going to be some way Edge is going to worm his way into getting the title again.
For a 10th time? You think Triple H will have anything to do with that? Because I don't know if Triple H wants to see Edge get 10 title wins.
I don't know.
You know, because Triple H is keeping count of that stuff.
That's true. I don't know. Big Nose might want to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. And do you think, let me ask you this question, would Big Nose showing up tonight on Raw, do you think that was supposed to be Kennedy's spot?
No, because it's Big Nose. He's going to go out there and kill Orton. That's what he does. When you see Triple H and Randy Orton in the same screen, Triple H owns Randy Orton. You saw a comment. I'll say, here comes Triple H with the nose and sledgehammer in hand. And here he comes walking down to the ring. I'm surprised he didn't have the tight leather jacket that he usually has on.
Yep.
And he kind of came down to the ring, and I said, oh, he's going to squash Orton.
Orton got in 0 offense.
0. No, is this 2002?
It's either 2002 or 2008. Punk is champion and Triple H is squashing people.
It's going to turn the Raw Triple H for the summer. I have a weird feeling. I think what's going to happen is that they're going to have their Hell in a Cell or their big final match or whatever it's going to be, and Triple H is going to get over, and they're immediately going to turn to Triple H versus John Cena 3 because they're desperate for some type of big main event to work out. So they got to get two guys that they can get crowd reactions out of.
That's terrible. I think it's time to maybe turn off Raw and cheer for the Sox.
White Sox?
Cheer for the Sox. No, the Red Sox. No, we actually win.
Hey now. But then again, the White Sox have won the title recently. I mean, unlike those bums, the Cubs, and the Red Sox have won the title a couple times now. So.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I have to say is I'm surprised people are bringing up the invasion of one of the worst heel turns in the history of
Thank you.
That was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Thank you.
He didn't turn heel. He didn't turn heel. All it made me do was cheer him more.
Thank you. That is exactly why it was the worst turn. No.
It was going off, when they started that, he went on SmackDown. He beat up Michael Cole. I became a bigger fan of him than I ever was before.
And then when he stunned JR, I became a big fan of his.
Ground Zero 1997, also at PWRshow.com. Finally found it. That was the first of the Austin Stunner.
This was just one of the worst heel turns. It's like
it was almost. You know what, Bowman? I'm gonna let you say that. I'm gonna let that be your opinion.
Hey, Bowman. It was almost as bad as when they quote unquote turned Goldberg heel.
Yeah.
Who?
It's all right. They figured since Hulk Hogan turned heel, and I put quotation marks around that heel because if he actually turned heel, NWO wouldn't have got the cheer.
Right.
But they figured since it worked then, before the internet came around, they figured that it's gonna work for the next guy. It just don't bring that up. That's one of the worst heel turns. Like it didn't make any sense.
It's like Chewbacca being a Wookiee.
Bowman, what we talked about right before this, though, Invasion was one of the most purchased WWE pay-per-view events in history. It's in the top 10. Why?
I must have been the only person in the world that didn't want to see that.
Why, though? They had people caring about what would happen coming out of it. And remember, WWE, the biggest mistake in professional wrestling this century, I think, is WWE's botched use of WCW, the acquisition of WCW. They completely screwed that up. And Invasion shows how good, I'm not talking about what was on the card, I'm talking about the business results of the pay-per-view, shows how good that angle could have been.
I had heard some things that there were certain things in the bio that he did that he got that he couldn't keep WCW around for certain things.
That could be the case.
I had heard that like they there were some original plans to actually keep them a separate entity, kind of do what they were doing now with the brand extensions.
Right. But here's the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is if WWE didn't build it, they're not living in it. Meaning, if they didn't make the star, they're not going to keep the star. They're going to retweak the star so that it's their own.
I mean, think about it. They broke down Chris Jericho and built him up their way. They broke down Booker T.
But you can't blame them for that. They have a formula, and their formula has worked. So why would you can't knock them for not doing it.
Yeah, you know, it worked.
When they haven't used it, when they haven't applied the formula to, say, Goldberg, when he first came in, when he didn't apply the formula to them, what happened?
No, you know what? That formula does work. I mean, the Goon, Salvatore Sincere, Bastion Booger, Dean Douglas.
Don't forget Manitar. Don't forget the Man of War, Repo.
Hey! This is no Aldo Montoya bashing on this show. No Aldo bashing. He was the first person I was a mark for, I think.
Yeah, the guy with the underwear on his head.
Right across the street from the studio here at the Mecca Arena, downtown Milwaukee, now the U.S. Cellular Center, or Arena. That was when I met him. Here's how big a mark I was. I have not even ever told anyone this. I made actual little fan club cards with picture ID on them for the Aldo Montoya fan club.
You had a fan club?
Well, it was too deep. Me and my friend Brian were in it, and we saw him. He, for whatever reason, randomly, we happened to be in the right place. Well, hey, when was this? This was 1996.
Yeah.
This was 13 years ago. I was. Oh my God! I was still old, old enough. I was old enough to know better.
You were an F mark.
Did you make cards for the Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, Bowman, you have now earned legendary status on this very program. Dragon, thank you. Bowman, thank you for calling. Dragon, make sure this man is always allowed through on the phone lines.
From the city that built New Kids on the Block, Bowman. That's where you're calling from. Remember that?
New Kids on the Block, Bobby Brown, Aerosmith. You want us to go on in the more fields?
Godsmack, come on.
Let's smack line 3 out of here. Bowman, thank you so much for calling here to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. It is about the time now to take a time out because I'm flustered. It's warm in here. I need the air conditioning turned up. And
supplemental picks are coming up
on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Time! It's time! It's Beta time!
It's time! It's time! It's Beta time!
Sounds like your prom night. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson and the man they call me to. Hey, my prom date name was Tara. It was right on top of the banquet building down the road.
Was named Bill.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. We're coming up on the supplemental draft.
She gets around.
In just a few moments, but first, let's clear the phone lines. On line 1, we've got Anthony from Helmar. Go ahead, you are live on the Pro Wrestling Report. Anthony on line 1.
Oh, hey there, guys.
Hey, what's up, Anthony?
Nothing. I just want to talk about probably the WWE situation. I agree it probably is vacant for now. They should just do some kind of tournament, like a 16-man, and have like the final for the pay-per-view coming up.
I think so.
Have a tournament like WrestleMania 4? Oh, that was Drunk Robin.
Not that many, like 16. So it'd be just like 8 matches, then. Be smaller.
Maybe they could have the July pay-per-view be the King of the Ring.
Ooh, hey now.
And for the Punk situation, they can go heel, which is the obvious way, or they can go him on SmackDown saying, yes, I took the opportunity to get the belt, but I'm not going to be like some people, Edge, and not give the guys who deserve the shot. So Jeff Hardy, you're going to get the shot. They wrestle, then leads to a 3-way match at a match between Hardy, Punk, and Edge.
Okay. I don't want to see Edge come out of that with the belt again, though.
Me either.
Kind of like Batista coming out of a match with Randy Orton with the belt.
You
Why?
know what? Batista is just boring. I'm sorry. We were watching Raw together, and I'm like, you know what? I just don't like him. I don't know what. I used to be somewhat of a fan of Batista. I just don't like him. I mean, him being on screen
I was a fan
gives
of
me
Deacon.
no reason to keep watching.
I was a fan of Deacon Batista.
Let's go now to Robert from San Antonio, Texas. Big Texas night here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Anthony, thanks for calling in. Robert, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up, Robert?
All right. I have to comment on the situation with the WWE title. I think that it's very good that we don't have an answer because now you have to tune in next Monday to find out what.
Well, and you know what's ironic is WWE didn't announce that they were doing a 3-hour show just out of nowhere. Hey, next week, 3-hour show. Woo!
Well, I think that.
No, that's an excellent point. That's an absolutely excellent point because now we do have to sort of figure out what they're going to do and then tune in not only Monday night but probably to ECW tomorrow night. And
Superstars
SmackDown Friday night and Superstars Thursday night. Very smart in pushing the viewership forward by WWE.
And I think you have to do that in order to keep your product going and keep it fresh and
cliffhangers.
So, as far as this Extreme Rules pay-per-view goes, I thought it was great. But I disagree with Tommy Dreamer winning the ECW title.
Do you want him to bring Extreme back to ECW?
I would love for it to happen, but it's not going to happen. Vince has gone PG, and I don't think that's the best choice for the product.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. And to my point earlier, WWE has tried to diversify their business, which is very smart and the way to do it. They tried with the WBF, the World Bodybuilding Federation. They tried with IcoPro. They tried with the XFL. They tried with their music company, Stephanie Music, that went under. They tried with, give me something else. I mean, they've tried so many things. They need to diversify their wrestling business because they have a great opportunity to do so right now. They don't need to have the 3 similar brands right now. They need to take advantage of the opportunity to have different programming under their own umbrella. They can do that. It's just like they got to look at themselves as an entertainment broadcasting network, and they've got all these channels by which to push their product. You got to have a different spin on each in order to make it interesting. Right now, just calling it Raw, just calling it SmackDown, just calling it ECW isn't enough.
I agree. But I think that I don't understand why the pay-per-view was called Extreme Rules when it was not extreme. It was a great pay-per-view, but it just was not extreme.
Oh, it wasn't extreme at all. And they said that this is the one time of the year that WWE goes extreme.
And I think that's just stupid. I think they should have gone with a different name. And just to really go quick to what Bowman was talking about, Triple H coming back, and Bowman really tore apart Triple H. But I think
he actually tore apart Damien more than Triple H.
But I disagree with that. I'm not a Triple H fan by any means. But you know what? He comes out, he gets good ovations, he sells merchandise, and as long as he keeps doing that, he's going to remain on top.
You're right. Robert from San Antonio, Texas, thank you so much for calling in. San Antonio, by the way, oh, never mind. I was going to give a random fact about San Antonio, but it was actually the opposite of what I was thinking. Let's go to the news desk, Meathead. Thank you, everybody, for calling in for your thoughts on Extreme Rules. We're running out of time, so we got to get a few things in here, first of which the news desk. And before we go to that, let's remind all of you, you can follow us on Twitter. We tweet, Meathead.
Really? I'm going to have to get on this Twitter.
PWR Show, twitter.com/PWR Show. Follow us on Twitter. You get instant notification of breaking news updates, and also anytime new content is posted at PWRshow.com, right, so, you get instant notification.
So we Twitter? We Facebook.
We tweet, we Facebook, we MySpace, we YouTube, we Daily Motion, we Bleep,
we Rever,
we Bebo, we Rever.
Yeah.
Just name a media outlet.
We also have a Frank Cosentino fan page at Facebook, I think, too.
Batista did indeed work Extreme Rules with a torn tendon in his bicep. It's not a muscle tear as had been feared and reported. It is unknown how much time he may miss, and that is why you saw that angle on Raw tonight. Jeff Hardy did suffer a broken finger and a shoulder injury at Extreme Rules. He has recently also stated that he will likely be re-signing with WWE when his contract expires. Let's go to the ratings for last week. WWE Raw gets a 3.4, SmackDown with a 1.9, TNA Impact with a 1.1, ECW 1.05, and Superstars with a 1.0. In addition to Ken Kennedy and Umaga, WWE has released several developmental talents, including Dakota Darso, the son of Barry Darso, Smash of Demolition. Ric Flair no longer working with Ring of Honor. He says it was his decision, and he is loyal to World Wrestling Entertainment, even though he only has a verbal agreement with the company. World Wrestling Entertainment also released the buy rate information for WrestleMania 25, coming in lower than WrestleMania 24 with 970,000 buys, about half of that coming domestically, which is over $22 million in revenue. Keep in mind, though, revenues are split between the WWE and the cable providers. It's time now to shake things up again. We had our draft last week on PWR Primetime Meathead. You got the first pick there.
And owned.
It's time for the supplemental draft, but first let's review the picks so far. And the picks for my brand, my fantasy draft brand, went as follows. Triple H, AJ Styles, John Morrison, Santino Marella, Shawn Michaels, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas, Chris Jericho, The Undertaker, The Big Show, Kurt Angle, broadcast team of Mike Today and Don West with general manager Ric Flair, and on the female side of things, Angelina Love, Mickie James, ODB, and Tara, formerly known as Victoria. And Meathead's fantasy draft roster was
John Cena, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, Edge, Beth Phoenix, Booker T, Evan Bourne, Christian, Carlito and Primo Colon, MVP, Rey Mysterio, Nigel McGuinness, Natalia Batista, William Regal, and the announce team of Michael Cole and Jim Ross with the general manager of Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, I happen to notice you pulled the mic away from your mouth when you did that.
Kennedy. It's not my first day here either.
Well, now we have 5 names each to pick from, ladies and gentlemen, in our supplemental draft. And, of course, Frank is not here to police this. But
we have Dragon in the back.
But, well, the Dragon is here, but Frank did send over the rules, and he published them at PWRshow.com in the draft section, in the new draft section. Yep. So you can check those out to see what indeed the rules are, not only for this draft, but actually how the draft structure or the fantasy structure is going to be for the entire draft going forward. And without further ado, Meathead, my first draft
of the supplemental.
My first draft of the supplemental draft. And keep in mind the rules for this draft are everybody else who wasn't picked is available. Whoever is picked on a roster is locked, and everybody else is available as long as they're active on either WWE, TNA, or Ring of Honor's roster. So my first pick is actually going to be not named.
Oh, not named.
We can do that in the supplemental, Frank said. My first pick is not named. So I've got a mystery pick.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and name mine. And mine's actually going to be a tag team from TNA.
Tag team. Back again.
Right.
TNA.
The Latin American Exchange. Homicide and Hernandez will be in Meathead's WCW.
All right. That's fine. You want to go with LAX? You want to play that game? You can play that game. I will admit they were on my list. They absolutely were on my list. But wait a minute. As long as they're active, they can be injured, I believe Frank said. So when do you get Hernandez? When he comes back or now?
I get him right now.
Oh. Clearly it's a fantasy. My next pick, ladies and gentlemen, is the big man, Matt Morgan. That silence equals ownership, by the way.
Well, what's going to happen is, and you'll be reading these rules on PWRshow.com, when I win the first draft or the first pay-per-view, I'll be taking Matt Morgan and bringing him over to WCW because he was on my list here. You know, it's funny that nobody picked the former 2-time world heavyweight champion in the original draft that we held at PWRshow.com. I'm going to take him, though. He won the belt last night. He had the belt for about a minute. Are you meaning to tell me Jeff Hardy was the champion for 5 minutes? Jeff Hardy was the champion for 5 minutes. But he's coming to Meathead's WCW, so he may be champion again.
All right, that sounds good. My next pick, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the current WWE United States champion, Kofi Kingston.
Boom! Okay. Got Kofi. We got Kofi. That's fine with me. Should I go tag team again? I think I should. No, granted, one of the members are hurt, just like in LAX. One of the members are hurt, but they're still active in the Ring of Honor. Guys that I'm big fans of. Jay and Mark Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers.
That's a good pick.
I know. I made it.
That's a good pick. Well, my next pick, ladies and gentlemen, my next pick is going to be another mystery pick, which means I'm not disclosing who it is to anyone but Frank.
Okay.
Well, and obviously you, because you can't pick that person.
Right. That's fine. It's part of the show.
You suck.
I know. I know. I actually was going to do one mystery pick, and I was thinking about it, and it's not going to be this one. I'm going to hold it off. My next pick is a former ECW heavyweight champion. He's got a bit of a lisp when he talks, but he's got a lot of great potential. Jack Swagger.
What is this, a baseball game?
Yes.
Well, my fifth and final pick, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo, impressive, Greg. Good job on the board.
The tag team
back again
of Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes.
Priceless.
Oh, now it's your turn.
I'm ready. On my list, I had 3 left. You've drafted a bunch of the ones that I would have drafted. Keep playing it, Dragon.
You're right, because you need
Dragon.
time.
No. Do I go from this to this? I'm going to see how many times I can get Dragon.
Honestly, I didn't think anything could be more obnoxious than the man they call Meathead. You have just succeeded in instant irritation. Few people get me to instant irritation. You have just done it. I'm not touching you. Go with your pick. Mr. Prepared, Mr. Got a List.
Former world women's champion in WWE, Molina.
Good. Now you got 3 girls.
I'll be okay.
So let's run them down. The 2009 supplemental PWR draft, I have chosen 1 mystery pick.
2 of them, actually.
2 mystery picks, you're right. And accompanying them are Matt Morgan, Kofi Kingston, Ted DiBiase, and Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
And your Meathead have picked.
Yep.
LAX. Great pick, by the way.
Thank you.
They were on my list. Jeff Hardy, the Briscoes, Jack Swagger, who was also on my list, and Melina to round out your female division. Well, ladies and gentlemen, coming up actually in just a few minutes at PWRshow.com, you will see the lineup for my first fantasy pay-per-view show, which can be voted on Sunday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central at PWRshow.com is when you'll be able to see the lineup. Now, here's what we're doing this year. We're not just going to give you the matches and you vote on them as we did in past years. We're going to write the entire show and show you what happened on the pay-per-view, whether it be swerves, whether it be winners, losers, what have you, and you will vote on the overall presentation from each of our brands. And as Meathead alluded to earlier, the winner, as determined by the Internet Wrestling community each and every month, will get 2 additional picks. One of those picks can be from the opposing brand.
When I win the first battle of pay-per-views, I will be taking Mickie James and Matt Morgan.
You think you will be?
I will be.
There could be some additional stipulations added to that.
Yeah, again, we have to balance it so you have a fair chance.
Let's balance the meat.
Oh, I want to balance my meat right on the table. Oh, I'm sorry. Beef the meat is what we're going to be doing right now. You know, it's funny that, thank you. It's funny that we talk about Tommy Dreamer winning the ECW championship last night at Extreme Rules, and it was said that it was his first ECW championship. Not necessarily so. Can you name how many times Tommy Dreamer has actually been ECW champion? That's our Beat the Meat question for the week. If you have an answer or if you think you've got it, head on over to the comments at PWRshow.com. Once again, that's comments at PWRshow.com.
And we had a winner from 2 weeks ago, the Beat the Meat question submitted.
David Hogan sent in the answer to my Beat the Meat question from 2 weeks ago was who ran in to save, Vader ran in. He made a surprise appearance in TNA. Who did he save when he ran in and made the save? Well, it was time. It was time. It was time to talk just like this is. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes is who Vader came in to save. Once again, congratulations to David Hogan, who beat the meat on the air.
Speaking of Hogan's, I was listening to Stern the other day, and Brooke Hogan was on there.
Yeah.
She came off as a dirty young lady.
I have some very disturbing news to pass along to you for Brooke Hogan fans and Hulk Hogan fans.
Both of them.
There are videos out there on like TMZ, I believe is the website, where Hogan has rubbed the oil up and down the inner thighs of Brooke Hogan. It's very disturbing. If it wasn't her dad doing this, it'd be very hot and she'd be very filthy, but it was very creepy.
That's disturbing.
Inappropriate.
Indeed. We've got an email now. Remember, you can send your answers to Beat the Beat to comments@pwrshow.com. Again, that's comments@pwrshow.com. You can also interact with us at pwrshow.com by just sending an email using the contact links at the top of the page. This one comes from Justin Fleming, all the way from down in Australia, Meathead. He says, now that I see Umaga has left the WWE, weeks ago I was thinking he would get out ASAP. Why? Nation of Violence. I think TNA knew it was going to happen. Taz, Rikishi, and now Umaga. It's going to be brutal. What do you guys think?
You know, I could see Umaga becoming a part of the Nation of Violence. I do not see Rikishi doing it. I just don't buy it. Rikishi's not I mean, he did it for The Rock, but he didn't do anything else.
How many people get that reference, by the way?
We'll see.
Survivor Series 2000.
I'm watching the Chattelsphere right now.
99, maybe. But the good thing, Taz obviously is the person that is rumored to be being consulted by Samoa Joe on TNA. And now with Umaga being made available. But here's the thing, though, guys. Umaga cannot appear as if he has appeared in any way, shape, or form after being released by WWE. The name, the likeness, essentially the character WWE owns. So he's got to come in with a new name and almost a totally new look.
No, he could be Samoan something. Because
absolutely. Yeah.
What does his tattoo say on him?
Samoa.
There you go.
No, I don't think it'll harm him as much as...
Samoa Kid.
Yeah, well, maybe like the 1, 2, 3 Samoa Kid?
Yes.
Yes. Again, you can send those emails to comments@pwrshow.com. We're going to take a timeout, our final timeout of the evening, and when we come back, we've got the VI3, the TV poll results, Meathead, and more comments from pwrshow.com. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Listen to Jason Wilby during Homer and the D-List weekdays on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com, and PWRShow.com. What is that? Who is that, Dragon? Wait, it's vaguely familiar. It's Aldo Montoya. It's the Portuguese man of war. Yes! The man who wrestled with a jockstrap on his head.
Wow.
Just say it. Hey, I'm a fan. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's okay. I can tell you the first guy I marked for was Chris Jericho. I mean, truly marked for. That was the guy I rooted for every week. You know, he made me laugh, entertained me. Then, you know, we go on and on and on. I mean, the Hogan stuff I never really got into. Hogan was, funny. I was in a JYD. But, I never really truly marked for somebody until I marked for Chris Jericho.
Speaking of marks, we put this poll up at pwrshow.com for the fans to have the opportunity to vote as to what they thought was the best TV show of the week. Our web team thought it was smart to put it up on Mondays to give people the chance to vote for Raw. And then, obviously, you couldn't vote for any of the other shows that hadn't aired yet. Yet, people found a way to do that somehow or another. So here's the thing. These results are tainted. It's like the election from 2001, and it's Florida is the state we're talking about. But the show of the week for last week...
Election was in 2000, by the way. Idiot.
It carried into 2001. Mm-hmm. Right. TNA Impact, 47.1% voted on by you, the Internet Wrestling community, as the show of the week. Half of those votes came before Impact ever aired. Now, that says one of two things, B-Dad. All the other programming was that bad, and people were actually looking forward to Impact and knew it would be that good, or they just simply were voting to skew the results. WWE SmackDown at number 2, that I believe, with 31.1%, and WWE Raw with 12.6%, ECW and WWE Superstars rounding out the top 2. What would you think was the show of the week last week as far as overall presentation?
I really, truly enjoyed Impact, actually, this week.
Let's go to the PWR phone lines. Our last caller of the night. We are going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love, and the name is Jay. Jay, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Jay?
Hey, I've been trying to call for weeks and weeks about Shane Douglas, and it's just ironic that he showed up on Impact.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember a couple weeks ago you said Shane Douglas was just remembered as the guy who called Ric Flair out.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Shane Douglas is not looked at like that here.
Well, in Philadelphia, no. Shane Douglas is a little bit better.
Here, Shane Douglas is like a legend here.
Well, I mean, he's actually Pittsburgh-born. I mean, that's why his tights are always going to be black and gold.
Well, how do you feel about Shane's return to TNA? Now, a lot of the speculation is that this is only really surrounding Slammiversary, that and the return of Raven, which makes some sense. But certainly, I've been surprised at how the fans haven't reacted to Shane's return, but I don't know if you could really gauge that with the shows having been in Orlando.
Because he's about 30, 40 pounds bigger than he should be.
Yeah, and he's still
like,
smaller than Raven.
Yeah, if he's going to be that big, he needs to be somebody's manager or something. I mean, like, he cuts, like, the best promos, like, ever when he's on.
Mm-hmm.
But he's too big. I don't want to see him in the gold and black tights and without a shirt looking like Ric Flair.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know...
We need to talk about your flair.
What was the last thing we saw Shane Douglas doing in TNA? We saw him backstage interviewer.
Backstage, or when he was taking over for Candido with the Naturals.
Right.
As a manager, though, because as a manager at that weight, you could do it, but not in the ring. I don't want to see him in there. Just draws out there.
Well, hopefully he gets back into shape. I mean, you know, maybe that's what he's working on, even though you would think that he knew he was coming back to TNA. He would have got into shape by the time he got back. So, I don't know.
Yeah, Slammiversary ain't down for glory. It's right around the corner. So
yeah.
I don't think he'll be in much shape.
Yeah, you're right.
Your thoughts on Raven returning as well?
I really don't have none. I kind of forgot he was even going.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, again, with, I believe it's a thyroid that he's got. It's unfortunate that Raven is a little pudgy.
And what is going on in WWE? I haven't watched Raw in about 3 months.
To summarize,
I have to see Impact every week. Like Raw, like I might catch the highlights on the website.
Yeah, and that's really
you know, Raw has become, for me, for the last several years, SmackDown has been a chore. Raw has been a chore for me for the last several weeks. I said last week on this very program that the only show I look forward to on a weekly basis is Impact, and I can't even answer why. Superstars as well, sorry. The Thursday night block is my favorite block.
You look forward to Superstars?
Listen, I like the concept of Superstars. I appreciate
WGN on Comcast here, so Superstars is like something that doesn't really happen.
Well, I appreciate the fact that they clearly, distinctively show 3 different matches from the 3 brands. You know what you're going to get every week on Superstars. I like the concept behind the program.
Honestly, to me, Superstars is a throwaway show.
Yeah.
Nothing
Superstars
important
like
happens.
Heat, it seems like.
I disagree. And what important needs to happen, though, if you just want to tune in to see wrestling, which is essentially what you get on Superstars. Jay from Philadelphia, thank you so much for calling in here to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. We appreciate all the time all the callers have taken to participate in this program this evening. But, Meathead, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention again, coming this Friday to Milwaukee's Italian Community Center, it is Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. Let's run down the card. Lenny Lane versus Silas Young, a 6-man tag team match. Dysfunction and the McCoys versus Justin Dredd, Matt Longtime, and Ryan Rogue. The GLCW Ladies Championship will be on the line as Bobcat takes on the Princess Luisa Lace. And in a Legends match, our guest from earlier tonight, Kamala, the Ugandan Giant, takes on Rock and Roll Buck Zumhoff. GLCW Championship will be on the line as Al Snow takes on Val Venus.
Hello, Val.
And in the main event, Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty versus Kip James, formerly known as Billy Gunn, and Alejandro Estrada. That is going to be this Friday night. Live pro wrestling at the Italian Community Center. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling presents. You can go to blizzardbrawl.com right now to get your tickets and get more information about the show. Remember, those front row seats do include a meet and greet with all of the talent from that show. So make sure you get in where you fit in for that, the biggest wrestling event coming in the next few weeks to the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, GLCW Rumble on Friday night, June 12th.
And possibly Frank Costantino could be there because it's at the Italian Community Center, and we know Frank's Italian.
VI3.
VI3, you ready?
My
mail for VI3 is going to go to Santino Marella. My tag team will be the team of the Carlitos and the Primos, otherwise known as the Colon Brothers. And the female of the week, Santina Marella.
And for me, the definitive VI3, the one all of you joined us to listen to tonight.
At the top of the program.
Why are you channeling Shivani?
Go.
For me, the tag team spot will go to the team of Robert Roode and James Storm, Beer Money Incorporated. The female spot goes to Mickie James, and the top spot goes to a man who I think I could listen to on a microphone for hours nowadays, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
His entrance at Extreme Rules was classic. Don't touch me. To every fan that laid hand on him. And it's almost like he meant it. Just he's able to deliver. He's able to deliver so well.
Yeah.
3 minutes and we're out of here. The clock is ticking and we're in.
3 minutes and Umaga's out of here. He was part of that team, remember?
Yeah.
Before he was Umaga?
Yeah. Rosie or Jamal?
I referenced earlier, WWE Saturday Night Main Events DVD. Obviously, Randy Macho Man Savage's DVD comes out tomorrow. The Death of WCW DVD coming out in the next few weeks. I also picked up the Starrcade Collection DVD recently from WWE. And I got to say, I look forward to these just to see some of the historic footage that's on them. However, I expected more out of the Saturday Night's Main Event one. They had some great moments from Saturday Night's Main Event on there, such as when Mr. Perfect took the hammer to Hulk Hogan's WWE Championship title. They had the Brainbusters in their last match in WWE when Bobby Heenan walked out on them in a best 2 out of 3 falls match against the Rockers. They had, as we talked about, the Mega Powers exploding right here in Milwaukee's Bradley Center in the main event.
Second
in
event
1989.
in the Bradley Center that year.
It was just so many great Saturday Night Main Event moments, and really, when you watch it, it makes you remember how great the wrestling business used to be. It is just not what it was. I don't expect it to ever be what it was. I don't want to sound like Jim Cornette here, but it is just not as good as it was. Now, the Starrcade Starrcade DVD, on the other hand, started off very good. They were telling the story about Starrcade, gave kudos to Starrcade, rather, for being the show that actually did launch WrestleMania. The concept is where WrestleMania came from. However, WWE, which I didn't know until I watched this, actually pulled a fast one on Bill Watts. And for the Survivor Series, because Starrcade used to be on Thanksgiving night, for the Survivor Series, told the pay-per-view companies they won't get WrestleMania if they don't run Survivor Series, which is what killed Starrcade and brought Starrcade down from being the preeminent show
and
in
put it out to December.
The only problem was on that DVD, they skipped so many years and didn't tell the story that needed to be told, which was the transition of NWA to WCW and then the bad years of WCW and what Starrcade became, which was essentially a joke. And they didn't include the match between Macho Man and Ric Flair from Starrcade 95, where Pillman ran in like a wild man. All of the Horsemen got involved. Bobby Heenan called it perfectly at the end. It was a good match. It wasn't on the DVD, unfortunately. We'll be interested to see what the Randy Savage DVD brings coming up tomorrow night. I am aware, coming up tomorrow, released on DVD. This is the Pro Wrestling Report for the man they call Meathead and the Cause. This is Damian Nelson saying thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you Wednesday on PWR Primetime at PWRshow.com.